rabbi from Nazareth, and what? And so Luke says, here's what happened. They look at each other and they're like, what? And this is such a slur. What is this babbler trying to say? It's like, this doesn't even make sense to us. What is this babbler trying to say? Others remark, he seems to be advocating another God, just what we need in Athens, another God. And Luke says the reason they were confused and the reason they were saying that is this. They said this because Paul was preaching the good news about Jesus. Now, I just have to stop and say something that I say often here. Good news. If the version of Christianity that you were raised with, that you left, didn't strike you as good news, it wasn't the right version. It wasn't the first century version. It wasn't Paul's version. It wasn't Peter's version. It wasn't the Jesus version. And if the version of Christianity that you are considering leaving, you're considering leaving it because there's not very much about it that's good news to you, perhaps it's not the version that Jesus launched into this world, because the message of Jesus was such good news, it was branded good news. Back to the text. They said this because Paul was preaching the good news about Jesus, but specifically what he was preaching in Athens about Jesus was his resurrection. Now, this is so fascinating. Paul was not sharing the parables of Jesus. He wasn't sharing the narratives from Jesus' life. He wasn't going over the Sermon on the Mount. He wasn't quoting Jesus. His message was focused on the resurrection of Jesus, not even love one another. And the reason he focused on the resurrection is this. If Paul had simply gone in there and said, let me tell you about a man named Jesus who taught the following, well, then Jesus is just another burger on the grill, okay? Jesus is just another God and another altar, and that's the last thing they needed. And Paul's point was he's not just another God with another altar. He has come to replace all the gods and all the altars because God has done something new in the world for the world, and he punctuated the claim by raising this man Jesus, his son, from the dead.